Good morning, everyone. I'm Frederica Whitfield, and we've got this breaking news for you. Newark Airport reopening after an emergency landing prompted a shutdown earlier this morning. Passengers on a flight from Canada to Florida evacuating the plane using emergency slides. You're taking a look at some of the most recent images right there. The pilots contacted air traffic control requesting to divert and land immediately when smoke started filling the plane. Frightening moments. Let's bring in Mary Schiavo, former Inspector General for the U.S. Department of Transportation. Mary, good to see you. So walk us through all of the potentials when you've got these slides. Passengers have to go to deplane. You've got some passengers saying they smelled smoke. What do you think happened?
Well, I think they're going to be looking very closely at what was in the cargo hold. Was it an e-cigarette? Was it batteries? Was it something in the plane's batteries? Or was it something loaded in the cargo hold that shouldn't have been loaded? The good news is, of course, it was a newer 737. All the new model planes and all the passenger service planes have smoke and fire detection and suppression equipment in the cargo hold. So this is good news in terms of what the plane could do, and they had the early detection. That, of course, was thanks to a crash way back in 1996 of Value Jet, and the families fought for those smoke and fire detection systems in the cargo hold. So there are a lot of modern advances that they'll let this become a good news story. The injuries were probably from the slides. When people do an emergency evacuation, usually people do get injured on those slides. It's a long way down, twisted ankles, broken bones sometimes, cuts, abrasions. But that's a small price to pay for getting out of that plane in 90 seconds or less.
And so, Mary, how will investigators go about looking for the source of that smoke?
Well, they have a lot of things at their disposal. One, they'll obviously check the cargo and loading manifests. They'll look at any recent maintenance. They'll look at the batteries on the plane itself, and they have the plane and the cargo right there to examine. They will closely examine that cargo because there's so much emphasis on cell phone and e-cigarette fires. In fact, most of the recent fires on aircraft have been started by e-cigs or batteries, cell phone batteries, laptop batteries, usually in the passenger compartment, though, because they're not supposed to be in the cargo hold. So that'll be the focus, I think.
And then what goes into trying to locate the nearest airport and finding the availability and the strip there at Newark, New Jersey?
Well, fortunately, because of air traffic control, and they have been trained in this, when someone declares an emergency, air traffic controllers in the United States and most aviation nations of the world clear that corridor. That airplane that's having an emergency, and believe me, smoke or fire detected in the cargo hold is a dire emergency. Air traffic control clears the airways and gives them everything that they need to get that plane on the nearest available airport. In their electronic flight bag are the capabilities of every airport. Of course, Newark can handle the biggest jumbo jets in the world. But had they been somewhere else, their electronic flight bag would have told them when they did the research, the nearest available airport that could handle that size of plane. Fortunately, a 737 can get on a fairly short runway, a 5,000-foot runway if need be. So they have a lot at their fingertips, thanks to it being a modern aircraft and a lot of modern safety things that have happened in the last 20 years.
And then what determinations are made to reopen Newark since it was shut down temporarily?
That's up to the airport to decide. When they decide that they have carefully and securely isolated the plane that had the emergency and it's not blocking or impeding any of the airport operations and they can safely operate that airport, they open it. And it's been opened already, and they made that determination. It's rather surprising how quickly they can cordon off the area, get the emergency plane secured, and know that the emergency's over and get that airport reopened. Every time Newark closes, it's a hiccup there, but it's a big delay throughout the rest of the country because it's one of our main hubs. So it's pretty important that they got it open, and they did.
Mary Schiavo, thank you so much for your expertise. Appreciate it.